Here we go. Nebraska takes on the number 4 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes tomorrow on big noon kickoff. So it's finally time to give you my official matchup predictions for tomorrow. Who are some statistic leaders for Nebraska? How does the game go? Who are some offensive and defensive MVPs? And then who wins? Do the Buckeyes take care of business, or does Nebraska pull a massive upset? We have a lot to discuss in today's video. Hey, if you're excited about tomorrow, I know I am, hit that like button. And hey, if you're new to the channel or a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe. I post daily Nebraska football content through thick and thin. So if you're a diehard Husker fan, make sure to subscribe. You will be thanking yourself that you did. But without further ado, let's get into it. Talking about this matchup, Nebraska taking on number 4 Ohio State in Columbus, Ohio, 11 a.m. kickoff on Fox. This is a big-time ball game. Both teams are coming after a loss. Of course, Ohio State lost to Oregon 2 weeks ago. Nebraska got blown out versus Indiana. And both these squads have a chip on their shoulder. So let's start off with my first game prediction. I'll start off with my game predictions, then score prediction, and offensive and defensive MVPs as usual. So first game prediction. Nebraska starts quick. I know what you're thinking. Are you kidding me, Wilson? Nebraska starts quick against this Ohio State team? But here's the reality of the situation. Nebraska has their back against the wall. Nobody's expecting anything of them. Matt Rhule knows this, and for that reason, he knows how important it is to start fast, to get a touchdown early in this ballgame. Nebraska's actually had a lot of success within the first quarter of this season, specifically against teams like Colorado, UTEP, Northern Iowa. Now, that hasn't been the same the last couple of games, but they can go back to that rhythm they had in September. So Nebraska's had a lot of success in the first quarter with these scripted drives. Ohio State, on the other hand, has actually not started off games very well. They didn't start off the Oregon game very well. They didn't score a single point in the first half versus Iowa. They struggled against teams like Marshall and Akron in the first half. So they've started off slow. Although they're a really good team, they've started off slow. So Nebraska, I believe, will strike quick. They're going to score a touchdown on their opening drive. They're best when the drives are scripted, but can they be consistent? I also want to remind you that the last time Nebraska went to Columbus to play in a football game in 2020 with a bad Scott Frost coach team, they also scored on their first drive. Same thing happens here, but can we be consistent? I don't know. We'll see. Number 2, Nebraska still has some special teams concerns that linger throughout this ball game. Listen, it was shown last week that Matt Rhule has no trust in his kickers. He doesn't trust John Hull. He doesn't trust his long snappers. There were multiple opportunities for him to kick a field goal versus Indiana, and he didn't do it. Whether that was in the first quarter, second quarter, or the second half. He didn't do it. So I think that's going to persist versus Ohio State. We're just not going to kick the football. We're not. And at the exact same time, we're also going to have a lot of errors on the kickoffs. We had a bunch of fielding errors versus Indiana. I don't think our long snapping issue is going to figure itself out. It's going to be an issue that continues to persist unless we make coaching changes. That's just the bottom line, guys. So it might cost Nebraska some points. It'll be evident once again versus Ohio State that our special teams just is not close to where it needs to be. Number 3, Ohio State's passing offense erupts. I actually trust Nebraska's run defense. And although they struggled against Indiana, they've been still one of the best units in all of college football. So I think they're going to slow down Quinshon Judkins a little bit. They're going to slow down Trayvon Henderson a little bit. But I don't trust our defense to slow down Ohio State's passing attack. Jeremiah Smith is one of the best receivers in the country as a true freshman. They have guys like Emeka Ibuka, Carnell Tate. You know, their quarterback, Will Howard, is a top 20 quarterback in all of America. So I think Ohio State's going to do almost whatever they want in the passing game. Can Nebraska respond? Can Nebraska put up points? Can they do enough? We will see. Number 4, my 4th prediction in this ball game. It's going to be a 2-score game going into halftime. 2-score game. It's not going to be a blowout from the very beginning like the Indiana game was. Like, Nebraska's going to stick around. There might be a little bit of hope going into the third quarter. So Ohio State's not going to run away with it. We're going to fight. We're going to show effort. We're going to make Ohio State sweat for this game. Does it result in a win? Remains to be seen, but it will be close at least at halftime. It'll be a 1 or 2 score game. 5th and final prediction. Nebraska is going to keep it respectable. The final score will be respectable, but at the end of the day, Ohio State's going to tell you why they're one of the best teams in the country. They're angry. They're angry. They're coming after a Oregon loss. They have something to prove. Nebraska has something to prove, but this is just a tough match for them, right? Ideally, if you were a Nebraska fan, you'd want a team like a Maryland, like a Rutgers, like a Northwestern to bounce back after a tough loss versus Indiana. Nope. You play a really good team, and then you play a really even better team next week in Ohio State. So it's just not a good matchup for the Huskers, especially coming after a loss. You play a really mad Ohio State team. I'd feel some sort of way if we played Ohio State at home. Like maybe we could get juiced and ready to go. On the road. It's just so tough. All right, you can see the writing on the wall. Let's get to my score prediction in this ball game. Ohio State gets it done. The number 4 team in the country. They get it done 38 to Nebraska 21. So Nebraska actually keeps it a ball game. Nebraska covers the spread. But Ohio State's a good team, man. They're a really good team. They have one of the best rosters in the history of college football. They are angry that they lost to Oregon. They want to win the Big Ten. They want to be in the mix for the college football playoff. They're going to show people why, hey, you should not sleep on us. So I think they really make a statement against Nebraska. Unfortunately, we're just not in a really good position to win this ballgame, but I think we keep it competitive. And I think we give ourselves some optimism going into the UCLA game. That's all we really need. We need some optimism. We need some good vibes because that UCLA game is going to be crucial. Offensive MVP for Nebraska. We put up 21 points, so something must have been clicking. Ja'Cory Barney, I think, has been balling out. He's not utilized enough. He was our offensive MVP versus Indiana, although nobody should have won that award. He played the best. He had, 8 catches in that ball game. I think he plays a really good ball game once again versus Ohio State. So Ja'Cory Barney, offensive MVP. Defensive MVP for Nebraska. I'm going to go with Deshaun Singleton here. I thought he played a good game versus Indiana. He's been honestly pretty underrated the last couple of weeks. I'm going to give it to him again. And I think he has a really good game, at least in the run aspect. I don't know about in the passing game, of course, with Ohio State's wide receivers, but I think we can slow down the running game, and Deshaun Singleton will be a big part of that. Listen, guys, it's going to be a tough game tomorrow. And there's a reality where Nebraska could win. I'm not saying it's 100% certainty that Ohio State wins this football game and blows us out. We could win. But the odds are, yeah, we're going to lose. I don't even want you to look at the score. I want you to look at the effort of this team. The drive of this team, that the fact that if these guys are keeping their heads up, how well do they perform? Okay, look at the sideline. What's Matt Rhule's body language? Is he confident in his boys? We'll see. I want you to look at their effort because that's going to define how well they perform the rest of the year. If they're giving up in the third quarter, it's not a good sign going into the rest of the season. But if we're fighting hard, we're trying to make this a 1-score game. We're trying to make this a 2-score game. We're fighting back. We're not just going down in every little piece of adversity. That'll be a good sign going to UCLA. So that's what I'm looking out for. I'm also looking out for us to stay healthy. We need to stay healthy in this game. That's the bottom line. All right, guys, let me know down below. What are your predictions for this ballgame, Nebraska versus Ohio State? Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far in the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, folks, go Big Red, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.